What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So, this is actually a video for anybody that is in World Travelers. So, it's been an interesting year. Suddenly we popped up and we got all kinds of requests in World Travelers, the Facebook group, which is really cool. And I also want to say welcome and have safe travels whenever you're traveling. But aspire to travel more. And the reason I say that is, you know, some of the times when I travel, I actually think I'm like, you know what? I'm just bummed out. I'm not feeling this travel thing or whatever. But then it's kind of like you don't really appreciate things until you feel them later sometimes. So you don't know if you're having a bad day if you haven't had, or if you don't know if you're having you think you're having a bad day, but until you've had a worse one or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm all screwed up. But meaning in the moment you might think this experience sucks or whatever, but later you're like, man, do you remember that? Do you remember seeing that? So sometimes you probably should travel more because think about it. We are officially at 1,000 members in World Travelers, by the way. Whoop, whoop, that's why I'm making a video. And think about it for a second. Think about how hard you work. You're working hard every single day, right? Every day, every day, every day. And what are you really getting out of it? Now, I'm not saying that work is not maybe you enjoy work and you don't like to vacation or whatever, and you're probably not in this group or watching this video. So remember if I had to give the average person a way to reset their mind and just go explore the world. And exploring the world does not mean that you have to travel halfway across the world. Sometimes you can find amazing adventures in your own backyard. Whether it's some of you guys live in amazing places, and we get so caught up in trying to go really, really far, like me. But my thing is, nobody in my family ever traveled pretty much out of the country or anything, and everybody thinks it's impossible. So I got to prove to myself and everybody around me, because that's what I do. I'm a prover that it is possible, and travel really is possible for you. Google Flights, you go to the Explore thing. I've talked about different ways of going about being able to save money on travel. It could be as an expensive thing or as a cheap thing as you really want it to be. Obviously, when you have different hurdles like mortgages, car payments, bills, credit card debt, school loans, or whatever, it becomes quite more difficult. But nevertheless, I want you to focus. Probably, I would say once every 3 months would be a good way to get out of town. Now, it could be for a weekend. You could schedule it around a holiday weekend or something. You got 3 days, bounce. You could take a week off work and bounce that way or whatever. Try to get a job that has a little bit more vacation time or anything like that. Always make it fit, because I promise you, after you're working so hard, if you're all work and no play, you're not going to be enjoying life to the fullest. If you have to get a cheaper apartment to be able to enjoy the things and stop saying, oh, it must be nice to travel or it must be nice to do that. No, it's going to be nice, and you really need to focus on making sure it happens for you. You guys, I've been in a rut as far as travel. I recently started training at the Self-Made Gym. It's not cheap, it's not horribly expensive, but it's a big chunk of money that I never really had before. And also, I have a brand new car payment, so it's difficult. I understand. And all those things will pile on you, and you'll think there's no way, but you have to make a way, you guys. And I, I'm willing to bet probably 700 or 800 members out of this group, out of this little family here of world travelers, are probably making it work no matter what. So it's possible for them. It's possible for you. You guys, thank you so much for all the support. If you're new here, by the way, obviously this is my YouTube channel. That's where World Travelers began, is my YouTube channel. I have travel videos and talking about different stuff. And I've been all over the world, and not all over the world. No, I can't say all over the world. I think I'm almost at like 30 countries. That's definitely not everywhere. I have not gone to Africa. I did South America for the first time this year. I've done North America, I've done Asia, or yeah, Asia, and I've done Europe. And like England, if you consider that, Great Britain, whatever. So different places, and definitely got a couple continents left. I want you guys to just make a plan. Just make a plan. Write something down, affirm it, make a big plan, and break it down into small little pieces, because we got to make travel happen for us. Some of the most memorable things in my entire life were things I did while traveling, but never saw them coming. Like, for instance, I never wanted to really see the Eiffel Tower. It wasn't my thing. But when I came up out of the subway, the Eiffel Tower was right. When I talk a lot, that's what happens. It was like right pretty much when I was coming out or whatever. And I don't remember if it was, I think it was, I was coming out this way and the Eiffel Tower was that way. So I'm coming up and I looked to the side and I believe that's where it was. I'm trying to remember. I think that was the one. There was a special subway where I came out all the time and it was like a really cool ornate stuff, but that wasn't it. So it was a different place that was by the grocery store where they made orange juice, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I come out and I never wanted to see it. Okay, you know, you ever seen those things like people are like, oh, the beautiful museum, and maybe you're not a museum person. You're like, who really gives a crap? I don't really care about that stuff. Well, this was kind of the opposite. Everybody likes to see the Eiffel Tower, and I came out and I looked at it and I stepped back. I remember I stepped back and there was like a little small little parapet wall that I kind of leaned up against. And I sat there for a second and I realized, as I'm like literally pouring tears, that so many people have gone their entire lives with either thinking that it's not possible for them or thinking that they can't afford it or whatever. And that was the first time I had gone over in England, and we took a trip under, this is way cooler to me, under the English Channel, I believe is what it's called, and you're literally going underwater for like 30 minutes in a train. I thought that was spectacular. Like, really? That was accomplishable? That's a feat of engineering and architecture and construction, and that's really cool to me. But I got over there and we went to France, and I was just like, the Eiffel Tower, first of all, it's so funny because they hated it. The French hated it, and it was built for like the exhibit of the world. What is it called? The World's Fair, I think is what it's called. I think so. I think I'm right. The World's Fair way back when, and it was supposed to be built in Barcelona, Spain, I believe, and I believe they said no, and Paris accepted it, and it was just like something like built like really fast for like a cool thing, to be able to kind of draw the public or whatever. But the French hated it, and they absolutely hated it. And it's so funny because now it's like a world icon. I think I'll Google it. How many people in the world? How many people travel to Paris in a year? It's one of the most traveled places in the world. How many people travel to Paris every year?
Here's a summary from Travel Tips, USA Today. In 2016, the French capital city attracted an estimated 36.5 million visitors.
Holy crap. Wow. That's intense. Think about that. What percentage is 36 million of 323 million? That's going to give me a percentage calculator. Hold on. What percentage of 323 is 36? Calculate. So that's 11% of the American population went to Paris. You got to think that's pretty intense. That's a lot of people. I will say Paris, in my mind, was 2 words: beautiful chaos. It was one of the most diverse places I've ever seen in my life, and I say diverse because if you're in Arizona, you have a lot of people, Hispanics and stuff like that. So Your culture is, you have, you know, black people, white people, Hispanic people, and um, it's diverse, but it's not diverse like Paris. Every other person you can see almost completely different genetics, like different parts of the world that you don't see every day. It was really interesting. But the cars, the traffic, the buses, the trains, it was pretty unexpected. I did not notice. I would say London was a little bit different, but those are the type of experiences that I really did feel lucky. And I think when you experience these things, realize that they don't have to be once in a lifetime. You can keep plugging along for them. Make it a priority. You know, people say all the time to me, I can't afford to travel. Well, how much were your shoes? You know, how much did you spend on um, eating out last month? How much did you spend on fun, guitars, or I didn't buy those, by the way. Just saying, because they're there. How much did you spend on cigarettes or alcohol or um, you know, videos or whatever it is, shopping, clothes, whatever. Maybe cut back a little bit on those things. If you cut back a little bit on those things, with the average person's income, you really can make it happen, because I've been very, very under the average person's income for many years, and I'm doing my best to get up there, but I will promise you it's definitely possible on many different types of income levels. You just have to make it happen. Work the extra hours, you know, take an extra shift. I'm getting ready to probably take a weekend job so that I can increase the amount of funds that I make to help everything keep going, you know. So travel, you guys. Travel, because you're not dead yet. And don't wait till you're old. I promise you. I ran into a lady one time. Son of a gun, it was actually in Paris. It was my first time in Paris. Same trip. I ran into her, and she was older, maybe 68, 70. Sat next to her, and she had like a walker and stuff like that. And I'm like, how's your day going? She's like, she was so surprised I just like randomly talked to her. If you ever get a chance, by the way, some of the most intelligent people you are ever going to meet, the people with the greatest stories, are older individuals. If you see an old lady, old man, like grandma, grandpa, chilling on a bench at Walmart, waiting for their car to pick up, sit next to them and talk to them. They exist, okay? And they're amazing people. You know, it's sad to see so many of them just sitting there and no one to talk to. So I randomly sometimes talk to people. And I'm that guy anyway. I randomly talk to everybody. But in all actuality, you just sit and talk to them. But this lady, I talked to her and I was like, how are you doing today? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm really good. She's like, you don't see that anymore. And people don't. And I don't remember where she was from, but she was clearly American. And I said, you know, what are you traveling like as far as like, she's like, I'm on a tour, a guided tour and stuff like that. We get on the bus and do this and that and stuff like that. I'm like, how do you feel about travel? And she literally said, I wish I would have done it when I was younger. It's really hard now. And I thought about it. You know, she had the little walker and stuff like that. Obviously, she's still experiencing the world, which is great. But don't make your bucket list. You stop pretending that you're going to be around. Okay? Stop it. Tomorrow's not a freaking guarantee, you guys. I promise you, knock on wood, something could tragically happen to any one of us really fast. Knock on wood. Please don't happen to anybody watching this video or myself. But think about it. Think about it. Think about some of the things you've been through, and you look back and you're like, glad I made it. Well, what if you don't? You know, experience your life while you're here. I don't know what happens after we pass away. I don't know what's going to happen next for any of us, okay? I don't base opinions on that. But no matter what you believe, our time is limited here. And if you make plans to do things when you're 60, 70, 80 plus years old, are you going to be around? I'm not saying hope not to be. Hope to be around. But also, don't wait till then to experience joy in your life. That's like a joy thief. You know, waiting. Who postpones something for 40 years? Don't do that. And if you did and you're there, get out there. Get out there. If your health is great, if not, get on a training plan, get exercise. I'm a personal trainer. But no, seriously, get back in shape, because I promise you there's nothing more physically demanding than traveling the world. I promise you, holy crap, is it literally excruciating on your feet, legs. If you got any extra weight on you, get that ish off fast, because I promise you, the amount of stairs, first of all, if you're going to Europe, welcome to stairs, okay? Welcome to walking. On average, I was at like 20 miles a day. The stairs were probably 60, 70 flights every single day. It got so bad at the beginning of the day, and I'm super ambitious, okay? I'm like fighting up them, doom, running them up with backpacks on and everything, working out all along the way. But I promise you, by the end of the day, when you're like trying to get back to your hotel and you're just like, oh my gosh, I came out of the subway. Why is there 9 floors of stairs to get out of this damn subway? That's what you're going to feel like you're walking on, little stubs by the time you get done. You're going to be hurting. So make sure you stay in good health. Make sure you travel. Make sure you set these goals. I just set mine. I got some stuff planned in the future. Keep in contact for the pictures. Obviously, this is my training plan, but right here is my YouTube channel, One Big Impact. And if you follow this link, obviously that will get you to all 1,800 of my videos. You guys have a good day. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. Drink your damn water and stay on track. Peace.